question is from James and his dad Walter. Who was the best central defensive partner you played with, club or country? Well, I'll go for club first, and I would say it was Terry Butcher when I was at Rangers in my first spell. Terry was obviously England captain and joined Rangers in '87, and we formed a very good partnership. He was left-sided, naturally left-sided, naturally right-sided, so we formed a really good understanding, and I learned a lot from Terry. On the domestic side, I would have said Richard Gough. When I played with Richard at Rangers on my second spell, again he was Rangers captain, and we had a really good understanding and formed a really good partnership. Next question is, what was your biggest regret as a player? I would have said that I didn't have really any regrets playing football. I think you learn all the time. Every game you play in, every mistake you make, every game you lose, you learn. But your highlights always come to the fore. Winning major matches, major competitions, improving as a player, winning big matches, derby matches, Rangers Celtic, Hibs Hearts, international matches, European matches. You tend to remember all the good points, and you learn from any mistakes you make throughout your journey. Next questions are from Callum Scott, and he's asking, at what age would you say young players generally mature? That's a difficult one to answer, and a very good question. If I look back, I think back to my younger days as a player, the players mature at different stages and different times throughout their career, either in youth football or senior football. When I was younger, 12, 13, 14, I was just really skinny, quite tall, sort of beanpole style, and that's where I get the nickname Slim. But there was players round about me who were probably a year younger or slightly older, but they were definitely more physically mature than I was at that stage. So it's difficult to give an exact answer. I think players just mature when they're ready to mature, and not to get caught up about somebody's physically stronger than me at that age. You will always get stronger. It's down to your ability. Think more about your skill set, how you can improve that, and your ability and your fitness. Next set of questions are from Finlay Ledingham, and he's asking, who did you play for before going professional? Again, going back to my youth team, I played for Pollok United in Glasgow, in the south west of the city. I played for Pollok United throughout my youth all the way up to 16, and then when I joined Rangers at 16, I actually played for Gartcosh United for a while. I had some famous players I played with as well at Pollok United. I played with Billy Davis, who joined Rangers at the same time as me, and he was also scouted by Manchester United at that time. And my central defensive partnership at that time was actually a guy called Tommy Sheridan, who the younger players will not remember who Tommy Sheridan is, but I know a lot of the parents will remember Tommy from his activist days in Glasgow. Next question is, did you have a preference, international or club football? Again, that's a difficult one to answer. I think you take them on their own merit. Club football was fantastic. The way the Premier League set up over the last number of years, playing each other 4 times a season, and then you might qualify for different stages of cup competitions, you're playing the same team again. I think when I look back to 92, 93, I think I played Aberdeen either 6 or 7 times in that season. Far too much. Playing each other repetitively does not enhance the Scottish game at all. So that's something we can maybe look at for the future. So club football, I've enjoyed it. I had a great career in Scotland, and I loved every moment of that. International football, it's always an honour to represent your country, no matter what sport it is. but obviously Scottish fans are that passionate about the sport. And being a Scotland fan myself, it was a great privilege and honour to represent Scotland when I did. So both international and domestic, they're highlights no matter what. Next question from Finlay is, what position did you start, and were you always a centre back, and if you moved positions, how did you end up moving? Well, I've always, more or less, my favourite position is centre back. When I get into the Rangers first team, the manager actually moved me into a defensive midfield role on occasion, and then from there I actually went into a sort of attacking midfield position, scored a few goals, then eventually moved back to centre back. But then I sort of, because I was pretty good on the ball, pretty skillful as a tall centre back, ended up playing right back for a number of games, and then right wing back because I was quite athletic. I could get forward, down the wing, and get good crosses into the box. So I had a number of positions, but my preferred position was definitely centre back. I enjoyed that the most throughout my career. Next set of questions are from Ben. What is your role at GSR? Okay, my role at GSR is I'm a director of the company, and probably being the most experienced member of the three. Probably the boys look to me for a little bit of guidance and experience in what direction the company is going to go. Both John and Simone are excellent at what they do, but it's always good to have somebody who's got a little bit more experience, and not to make any sort of rash decisions and try and build the company up. You know, we operate throughout the world now. We were recently in Australia, we've been in Asia. We go over to Europe whenever we can, obviously pre-COVID-19, and hopefully that will continue once this virus has disappeared, and hopefully that's sooner rather than later. Next question, from the players you have helped with scholarships, what do they say is the best experience about it? Obviously when you become a client, we've got clients that sign up when they're 15, which is a very good age to look at. The route to America, they get to play in a lot more what you call client matches and showcase matches. The client matches are basically 11-a-side matches between all our clients, and we get a good opportunity to see them, give them advice on how they're improving, how their fitness is looking. We get good video footage of them that we can edit and then build up their profile that we can pass on to coaches in America. Coaches in America are always looking for talented individuals, so the video footage that we produce is always a key component of that profile that we build for our clients. That's before they go to America. Once they're in America, you'll find that a lot of the clients, they just love the experience. It's a bit daunting at first because you're moving country. It's maybe something you're moving away from home, and you've maybe not done that before on your own. So there is that element of obviously homesickness for the first week, 10 days. But once they go over that, they absolutely love the experience. They're in amongst other international students from all over the world. It can be Brazil, Spain, Australia, New Zealand. They love the experience, and then they mature year on year. It's good to see somebody who you've picked up as a client at 15, a young boy or a girl. You meet them when they're 18, 19, 20, how much they've improved, how much their confidence has grown over the past number of years. So when they're out there, that's probably the best experience. You can tell them all about that before they go out there, but once they experience it themselves, then that's when you get the positive feedback. Okay, next questions are from Callum Stewart. First one is, who was the best team you played against? Again, that's a difficult one. Best teams I played against would be on a European scene, obviously Inter Milan, Ajax, Marseille, yeah, a good number, Atletico Madrid. You find when you play at that level that all the teams are good teams. Some might have a bigger name than other ones, but they're all good teams, and they're all there in their own merit. And next question, best player you swapped shots with? I would say would be Jurgen Klinsmann when I played against Germany in the European Championships in 1992 in Sweden. They had a great number of players. In that section we played against Holland and Germany and the former Russian team, they were called the CIS at the time. So we were really up against it. And Holland had Hullet, Van Basten, Rijkaard, and I did try and get Van Basten's jersey. That was the one I really wanted, but I'm sure it was Richard Goff that beat me to it. But I managed to get Jurgen Klinsmann's German shirt, so that was a highlight for me. Next question is, what was your biggest ever game you played in? Again, that's always a difficult one to answer, but I would also say that if you play against Brazil were always a team that I watched as a kid. Loved watching them growing up. A lot of flair, a lot of skill, a lot of ability, obviously winning World Cups. So when I get the opportunity to play against Brazil in the 1990 World Cup in Italy, then that's definitely a highlight for me. They managed to beat us 1-0, but we hung in there. I think it was the last 5-10 minutes when they scored, and if we'd have drawn that match, we'd have been through to the next group stages. Unfortunately, a player called Muller, I think it was, that scored the winning goal, which basically knocked us out of that competition. So that was a disappointment. Brazil, definitely a massive highlight. Who was your funniest teammate? Funniest teammate has got to be Ian Durrant at Rangers. No matter what time of day it was, in morning time, before training, after training, lunch, on trips abroad, European trips, domestic trips, he always was a bundle of fun. You know, was all trying playing practical jokes on other players, but always up for a laugh. And I think you need sort of characters like that in the dressing room. That, you know, times are tough when you're maybe going through a bad spell as a team or as an individual, and if you get somebody that's got a bit of character that can make you laugh, then that's great. So Ian Durrant would be the player I would mention there. Okay. One from PG, and I take it that's Paul Goodwin. He's asking, what level of academic attainment should the boys be aiming for after NAP 5s? Okay, so in all my meetings with all my potential clients and obviously my colleagues, we tell them to try and attain the highest possible level. So if you're a C grade student, you want to attain a B. If you're a B grade student, you want to try and attain an A. Try and get the best possible grades. That's why it's good when we talk to clients when they're 15. We can say to them then, the more or the better you do in your schoolwork and your SAT exam, then the more offers we are going to get you come 18 years of age before you go out there. If you turn up to a meeting and you're 18 and you've got D's, then you're not going to improve on that. There's a limited amount of work we can do with you. We can get your scholarship, but it'll be a limited amount. It's all down to academic as well as sporting ability. So try and get the best possible grades, as high as possible. Everybody can improve. When I was at school, you know, my main focus was on my football, my soccer, try and improve at that. When you do that, your grades fall behind. But I know how important it is regarding getting good offers in the USA and the college system. If you go to the USA, if you do not keep up your C grade average, you will not play in the team. So that's an important factor. The coaches will demand that you get a C grade average. So it's now you put in the hard work, you'll find it a lot easier before you go to the USA. I hope that answers that one, Paul. Next line of questions is from Gregor. First one is, what is the best manager you played for? A number of great managers throughout my career, but the best one was definitely Walter Smith. He signed me to rejoin Rangers back in 1992, and that season we won the treble in 92-93. Walter was just a great man manager. He didn't overthink who we were playing against, tactically very astute, but there was nothing complicated. Managers can overthink things, over tactical decisions can be made, but you usually find the best managers are the ones who keep it nice and simple. know the players that they've got in the squad, know how to play them, know how to motivate them, and Walter was definitely the best for that. Next question from Gregor is, how many of the GSR Central Academy boys do you think will get a scholarship? Again, it's a very good question, a difficult one to answer. I'll have a better idea once we come out and assess all the GSR boys individually. But what I've seen so far, there's a lot of talented players there, and there's a lot of players that we could generate really good scholarship offers for. Next line of questions from Jimmy, Jai's dad. Have you still got Eric Cantona in your back pocket? I don't think I actually had him in my back pocket at the time. When playing against Eric Cantona was an experience, and I know you're referring to the Battle of Britain, Leeds United matches back in '92, when it was the first Champions League group stages, or qualifying to get to the group stages. And we beat Leeds United at home 2-1, and we beat them down in Leeds 2-1 as well, so it was 4-2 on aggregate. But Eric Cantona was a fantastic player, and he scored down in Leeds, but again we hung on to win the match 2-1, but fantastic player to play against. He's also asked, some chat that I once scored 4 goals in a game, is that true? Yes, it is true. I scored 4 goals in my European debut for Rangers. It was the Cup Winners' Cup, and I've actually got to show you here the actual programme that somebody gave me last year. So that's a programme from the match. It was in Valletta in Malta, the first round of the Cup Winners' Cup, and we beat them 8-0 in Valletta, and I did score 4 goals. But another unique fact about this match was there was another match played straight after on the same pitch, and it was Dundee United against, I think it was Bohemians of Malta. So there was 2 back-to-back European matches on the same pitch on the same day, which is very unique. I hope that answers everybody's questions. Feel free to get back in touch if you want me to answer any more questions. But I'd like to wish all the boys all the very best. Stick in, work hard, get that fitness level up. If you are thinking about the USA, we would be delighted to talk to you about that at some point. But the main focus at the moment, keep everybody safe and well, look after yourselves. Again, fitness-wise, get yourself as fit as possible if you do think about going to America. The academic side, you've got plenty of time to get those grades up as high as possible, and I look forward to seeing you all very, very much soon. Take care. Bye now.